I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, as duly announced, and I'd like to think of myself as your personal astrophysicist. I'm coming to you from a sector of the universe called nature. And I just want to spend a few minutes reflecting on Earth Day, what it means, at least to me, and how it all got started. As you may know, the first Earth Day was 1970. But have you ever asked the question, why wasn't it earlier than that? Why wasn't it 1965 or 1960? Earth was no less important before 1970 than it was in 1970. So what's going on? Well, let's go back to the early 1960s. There's a book, famous book, written by Rachel Carson called Silent Spring. That was kind of a wake-up call for people because it highlighted the consequences of not really thinking through what it is we're doing to our environment and to our agriculture that could come back later and bite us, influencing our health and our well-being. So that planted some seeds. But still, whatever was the critical mass necessary, it was not reached back then to have declared such a thing as Earth Day. What else was going on? Well, there were regional sort of pollutive events. All right, a lake would die, fishes would die. The things that would have a stream would get polluted. And people knew that was bad, yes, but they only thought of it in local terms. We have to fix the stream so that it is no longer killing fish, right? We have to fix the lakes so that we can continue swimming in it. The concerns were regional and local. This notion that maybe the air we're polluting matters more to just the city over which the pollution sits. Maybe the waterways that we are polluting matters more than just to the waterways. There's the water table that feeds other regions. And plus, air molecules don't need passports. They can travel wherever they want on Earth. So can water molecules. So this global sense, where did that come from? We should ask that. I think I have an answer. Let's go forward to 1968. The first time we went to the moon was 1968. Few people remember that because the folks who went to the moon in December 1968 didn't walk on the moon. But they were the first to ever leave Earth for a destination. They got to the moon, orbited a bunch of times, came back. But while they were orbiting, they lifted the Hasselblad camera up and photographed Earth rising above the lunar landscape. That, I could show you a picture of it, but I don't have to because you know exactly what I'm describing. Not only that images, but other images brought back by each of the Apollo missions, beginning in 1968, ending in 1972. Each of them showed Earth from space. And I cannot impress upon you the feeling that descended upon us all when witnessing such an image. I can't impress upon you. I'll try. Here it is. You ready? All right. Those images are now screensavers to you. They're just backdrop. They don't force you to take pause anymore. Maybe that's a good thing because you're familiar with what Earth looks like from space. But back then, what were we all familiar with? Earth in the social studies class. There was a globe on the windowsill, all right, or on the back cabinet. The globe of Earth. And that globe had color-coded countries. And no clouds. No, so Earth didn't have an atmosphere. Earth was just the land, not the air. Just imagine this mindset. And it's color-coded. Yeah, that's Earth. And now, here come these images. Earth, as only the universe can deliver it to you. As this juxtaposition of oceans, land, and clouds. Adrift in the darkness of space, with no one coming to save us from ourselves. We're all in this together. I submit to you that over those years that we went to the moon, over those years, there was a firmware upgrade in our consciousness. A cosmic perspective descended upon us. So, the first images of Earth from space, deep space, 1968. We walk on the moon, 1969. And what happens in 1970? Earth Day is founded. We create the Environmental Protection Agency, signed into law, by the way, by a Republican president. What else? There's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. NOAA gets founded in 1970. This is an agency that combines thinking about the oceans and the air. They're related. And ultimately, they're all related to what happens on the land. And so NOAA, what's their job? To monitor Earth weather and climate and advise on safety with storms and commerce. The Earth. What else happens? Oh, a Comprehensive Clean Air Act is passed. A Comprehensive Clean Water Act is passed. DDT finally gets banned. 1972, and a year later, we would ban lead from gasoline. How about transportation? One of the biggest consumers of fossil fuels out there. Suppose instead you plugged your car into the wall to get power, rather than burning fossil fuels. Now let's think of oil. Oil is a source of energy. So is wind, so is hydro, so is solar panels, so is tidal, so is nuclear. There's more than one source of energy, but your car only runs on one of them. And that means the oil that drives your car is a strategic commodity. So that's why we know where the oil comes from in the world. We know what the price of oil is. It makes it into newspaper articles when the price of oil changes. But suppose all of that were different. Let's take your car, plug it into the wall. And now the power company can generate energy in whatever way it wants, whatever way we want it to. And it can be wind. It could be hydro. By the way, wind and hydro are solar power. It's the energy of the sun that evaporates waters from the oceans, and it rains in high places. You build a dam, you have hydroelectric. And the unequal heating of Earth's surface creates wind energy. So solar panels, wind, and hydro are all solar. Okay. So electrically driven civilization is not beholden to any one form of power over another. Because when you plug your apparatus, your car, your toaster into the wall, you're not thinking about where it came from. So that's an interesting future that may await us. But let me add to that, briefly, what that future might also bring. Consider all the reasons why humans have engaged in military conflict to the point of death. We fought each other over what gods you worship, over what your skin color is, over do you live on this side of a line in the sand versus the other? Where are the resources? There are multiple reasons why we've all justified to ourselves why you would engage in military conflict. Well, space has unlimited resources of all kinds. And so maybe if space becomes, or the solar system as a minimum, becomes our backyard, then that folds into how we understand our existence on this earth. And maybe there's an entire category of war that will never again be fought. And those are wars over access to limited resources. gone by virtue of our access to space. So, yeah, I'm biased because I'm an astrophysicist, but should a cosmic perspective ever be thought of as biased when it affects us all? And it's not hard for it to descend upon you, because all you have to do is to keep looking up.